Last time on Building the Ark, Michael acted a clown so hard he had to cut his video in half. Now as he struggles with his own identity, he will attempt to talk about Syrup Village. Will he survive? Probably. Find out next on Building the Ark.
It's a canon filler arc. Like, what do you expect? I mean, it's just a one-chapter thing that happens. It's barely even an arc. So, fuck it. We're just gonna go to Syrup Village, which, as you can hear with the excitement in my voice, Syrup Village is the worst part of One Piece, and if it was in any other series and written by any other author, it would absolutely kill interest in the series regardless. It is one of the most fucking boring and nonsensical arcs, and I hate it, and I don't understand why it's even here. I get it, it's to introduce Usopp, but other than that, it's a waste of fucking space that I often try to forget exists. I hate this arc, it's so boring, but, it's not awful. It's uninteresting, which is obviously a grave sin, but the thing is, I don't believe in a zero, and I don't believe that I should be a hate critic, as most YouTubers tend to be. I'd rather watch something that I absolutely love and tell you what's so great about it, than sit here and just suffer through something I hate for something that you probably already know is bad. There's no point in that. I don't do this because I need money, which I do, but I do this because I really like discussing one of my favorite mediums ever. I love talking about manga and anime, and I love talking about what all this stuff means, and especially what it means to me, because I don't give a shit what it means to you. I'm doing this mostly for me, and if you're watching it, good. Maybe you'll get something out of it that I probably didn't. I hope you enjoy everything that I talk about, but I don't really like to go through the negatives just to make someone go, I want to watch that video. And, you know, it's better to love something than to sit there and pick and poke at everything bad about it. Sure, you can look at a game like Nier Automata and say, actually, push his glasses up, it's shit. And you're stupid for liking it. I have no friends or father. Now, let's not get too negative. I don't really only do this for me. I do this as an extension of me. It's to kind of say to someone, hey, do you like this? Here's probably why you liked it. Here's why I liked it. Maybe you agree. Who knows? It's not a review. I don't do reviews unless I specifically say it's a review of an anime or something like that. I do a coverage, if you will. The whole point of this show isn't to tell you if an arc is good or not. I'm not going to summarize plot. I'm not going to tell you things that you already know about the arc. I'm going to go through the arc and explain in the best way I can the parts of it that work. The things that you won't care about is the story. The things that matter are the little bits and pieces that go into every arc that is made. And every arc has something great in it. From the shittiest of shit, you can learn some of the most important lessons. That's the thing. This isn't just about telling you what a great arc is and what makes it great. I can also look at a bad arc and say, okay, well, here's how not to do this. And then I can look at it and say, well, at least this is a positive about it. You can have something that you absolutely hate, that there's no redeeming qualities about. But there's something in there. And I know I just said no redeeming qualities, but if you take off those subjectivity glasses and you look at it from an objective standpoint, nothing is a 0. Conversely, nothing is a 10. And I will never give a 10 in anything I do. But I just want to clear that up. This isn't for me to get somewhere with. I don't want to become the new king of anime YouTube, because if I was that, that would be the most fucking depressing thing ever, and I would hate myself, because I'm the king of anime YouTube. I could have done so much more with my life in that time. What I want to do is, I want to be the guy that you turn on and say, oh, look, it's Michael. He's talking about an arc again, or he's talking about an anime he likes, or he's talking about a character. Isn't that fucking cool? And you sit there and you think to yourself, man, I really do love manga, and I really do love anime. And now I kind of have a better reason as to why I like it. and I can kind of reappreciate that again. And I want to give you that sense that you can fall in love with your favorite things all over again for all new reasons, and further understand why you like what you like. But beyond that, Syrup Village is a fucking piece of shit! This arc sucks. But Usopp is great. I love Usopp in this arc. Just everything about him. He's the last great ape of One Piece. Like, he is just this amazing thing where most characters need to warm up to Luffy. They need to really kind of let it sit. Usopp just kind of rolls up and is like, you guys are gonna be great warriors of the sea? Brother, I want to be a great warrior of the sea. Let's do it, baby. That's what I love about him. He's just some fucking weirdo who wants to go out and become a pirate. It's awesome. Now let's talk about what really fucking bugs me in this arc. And that's Captain Kuro. Captain Kuro is the fucking stupidest man in One Piece. And probably one of the dumbest characters ever. If you remember Captain Kuro, you have just wasted at least 35 million tiny little brain cells remembering a man who sat and subjugated and degraded himself for 3 years just so that he could run up on a small village with no economic upside. It's not in a nice area so that he can monopolize it or something. He sat there and he waited to take over a mansion because he's a fucking idiot and I hate him. And he's supposed to be the second smartest man in East Blue, next to Ben Beckman, the right-hand man to Yonko red-haired Shanks. That is the biggest load of fucking shit that I have ever heard in my entire life. And if I could somehow reach out to mangaka Ichiro Oda, with all due respect, all those years ago, and tell him, you don't need to put a villain in this arc. I will accept Usopp just gets on the ship and leaves. Syrup Village is what we call in the manga arc coverage-ish scene as an abortion. This arc I couldn't do without, and I respectfully ask it to leave my home. And if my daughter ever came home with this arc, I would disown her, I would disown my wife, I would disown my dog, I would re-own my dog, I would disown my wife a second time as an apology to the dog, and then I would have a new son, not made from a woman, but made from rib of my bone, created from sand and mud, to replace that hole in my heart that daughter has left, for she has brought Syrup Village into my home, and I will never forgive her. Let us move on to the Baratier. The Baratier is fucking awesome. Case closed. Fucking awesome arc. I love this shit. Like, look at it. It introduces one of the best Straw Hats. It has some of the best fights. Introduces one of the coolest warlords. Has one of the best moments in the series. God damn it, this arc just does everything right, and I love it. What about that moment? You know what I'm talking about. Zoro praising Luffy and telling him, even though I got my ass kicked here and I should have died and I want to die, I'm going to continue on, not for my sake, but for yours. And I will never lose again. Not to disgrace myself, but to never disgrace you again. This right here, my friends, is called a One Piece moment. A One Piece moment is not just a moment that exists in One Piece. It is a moment that One Piece does better than anything else. It is something that can evoke this feeling of not only hype, but also an overwhelming sense of just emotion, happiness, sadness, just sometimes even anger. And you look at it, and you see it, and you don't just feel one, you feel all the emotions. Everything that can be felt is felt in a moment. Everything. And you fall in love with a series when a One Piece moment happens. And if a series has just one One Piece moment, it is a classic. If a series has more than one One Piece moment, it is a legend. And if a series just so happened to make moments like these and had some shit tier anime YouTuber name these types of moments after them, they're One Piece. That is what sets apart this series. Is it makes you not only give a shit, it makes you continue to give a shit because you know around the corner another One Piece moment is going to happen and you are going to lose your shit when it does. And that is so fucking awesome. That is not only a mark of great writing, but that is just a mark of pure love for what you do. And there's nothing that compares to it. Let's talk about the other side of that moment. Drakeo Mihawk is one of the great mysteries of One Piece. For a long time, we knew nothing about this character other than he plundered the butthole of Don Krieg and then absolutely bodied Zoro. Everything we learn about Mihawk is really awesome, and he's a really great character, he's a really great design, he's a really great mustache.
Wow!
But the thing about Mihawk is, he's basically Zoro's final evolution. We know that this is what Zoro's gonna be like, but Zoro's gonna be a little bit better. And he's Zoro Shanks. He is the be-all, end-all. This is what we're going towards because that's what we have to go towards. And it's a good place to end at. And I really love his inclusion in this arc, and I think he's a great character moving forward. What's not a great character is Don Krieg. He's pretty much a throwaway villain. He has some, whatever. Like, his arsenal's there. It's fine. I don't give a shit. The thing that's cool about him is he escaped the Grand Line. He got into the Grand Line to begin with, which at this point is really special. And seeing someone who got chased out of the Grand Line and lived to tell the tale, that's kind of astounding. But honestly, I don't care. Also, Nami's missing, and she took the map of the Grand Line with her. Johnny and Yusaku were there. Do you remember Johnny and Yusaku? Do you actually? I always forget about them. They're a waste of fucking space. And wait a minute, Nami left. She took the map to the Grand Line. Oh my god, no.
What?
So yeah, Nami's missing, and guess what? Arlong Park time. Finally, we can talk about Arlong Park. I don't have much to say. I really don't. Arlong Park is what made One Piece not just a great series, but the highest rated shonen manga and the #1 of Shonen Jump's weekly popularity polls for the rest of time until it ends. Even when that thing is done, it will still be at the rank of #1 just because. And I think it's arcs like this, where they imbue you with this sense of hype, and you sit there and you look at it and you're like, fuck yeah, buddy, this is what I came for. I came to watch some fishmen get their shit rocked by a dude made out of rubber just fucking cuz. I watched a guy aim a rubber band at some dude and he ended up winning that fight. How the fuck did that happen? Go read the arc. If you haven't already, how have you gotten this far in the video? Why are you here? I'm not going to tell you what happened. Great arc. Ends with one of the most satisfying, just fuck yeah moments of just beating Arlong. And god damn it, everything in this arc is just fucking sick. I love it. And it really does just make the audience go, fuck yeah, let's read the rest of this series. Let's go the full 900. This is where I became not only just a One Piece reader, but a One Piece fan. This is like what got me. This is what I wanted. This is everything I could ask for in an arc, and then each arc afterwards that is a major story arc, not just, Whiskey Peak. I'm looking at you, my brother. No, every major arc that everyone talks about in One Piece is just Arlong Park, but it builds off of what Arlong Park did and just keeps doing it better and better. Everything in One Piece has to thank Arlong Park for being as good as it is, for how good they are. And that is awesome. And you kind of look at it and it's like counting the rings of a tree, and you're like, here's the origin. Here's the evolutionary link between the prototype of Orangetown and the perfection of things like Alabasta and Whole Cake. It is amazing. and I absolutely love it. And the fact that it sets up so many things for our hopes of the Grand Line, and the fact that things like Arlong and the Sun Pirates and the new Fishman Pirates, that they aren't just throwaway villains, that they are central characters to this, not only our current narrative, but to our entire lore of this series, that is amazing. How many other series do you know that does that? Like, is there any character, like, think about everything in Hunter x Hunter. As much as I love that series, characters like Tonpa do not matter later on. You see them once after the Hunter exam, and that's it. Even in Gintama, as much as I love those characters, as well reincorporated as they are, there are some characters I don't give a shit about. In this, characters I don't give a shit about, later on, Oda gives me a reason to give a shit about them. And that's astounding. I fucking hated people like fucking Helmeppo, and I thought he was awful. And you look at him now, and just the things that they've done with that man, it happens all the time. You get reason as to why Arlong the way he is when you see someone like Fisher Tiger. That's so fucking cool that we can look back on this and not only say, man, that was a great arc, but you say, shit, man, that's super important. I love it. And I do love this arc. It's awesome. And do I think you should go reread it and rewatch it? The fuck yeah, you should. If you haven't done it in a while, hell yeah, go for it. Do I think it's one of the best shonen arcs ever? No. I think it is a very good arc for what it is. If I was to give an objective score to it, it'd be like a 6 or 7. It is basic, but then again, so was the first automobile. And for One Piece, we're basically current time, we're at like Bugattis and shit. That's how far we've come. So take my recommendation with a grain of salt, obviously. If you're a more modern anime fan, and especially a more modern shonen fan, this arc may seem blank. But then you like My Hero Academia, so your taste doesn't fucking matter to me. This arc is sick, and I love it. One Piece is great. Let's wrap this bitch up. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Not literally, but, you know, if you want to rewatch the video, just give me that fucking views. But I said in the beginning that a great saga does not make you wait around, or at least does not make you feel like you're waiting around. One Piece builds up its world in the first chapter. It builds up its main cast in the first 40 or 50 chapters or so. And it builds up our expectations for the rest of the series in the first 80. That's awesome. And to think that we can look back on that and think these were 5 great arcs that happened. And we didn't even know that it was leading up to something as great as the epilogue of Logtown, or the hype climax of Arlong Park. The fact that we weren't waiting for that, and that we were enjoying every arc as we came across it, except Zero Village. That's what I mean by this. You can do great sagas that don't feel like a saga until they're done. You can look back and cut it into its necessary pieces and say, well, shit, these all don't work independently, yet they do. If they were just their own story, and we moved on after that, and they didn't connect in the slightest, and didn't get wrapped up in a nice little bow, you'd be none the wiser. You'd think, oh shit, man, that was a great arc. But now that it's 5 great arcs, back to back to back to back to back, holy fucking shit, my guy. This is what I'm talking about. This is what makes this not only great individual stories, but a great tight narrative. One Piece is the great tight narrative of manga. It is an overarching story made of millions and millions and millions of different people, places, and things that all come together in the very end to make this beautiful canvas that we're still watching as it's painted today. It is not done. It will only get better, and at that ending, after you've put all your time, effort, love, and heart into this, you will sit there and you'll think, man, remember East Blue? That was a fucking trip. We went from getting slapped by Alvida to killing Yonko and invading Yonko forces and dealing with Eam and the Gorosei. And man, it makes you nostalgic almost. I watched this arc when I was very young. I didn't even like One Piece at the time. It was just something that was on at some point. And, you know, obviously I saw some of that dub. But I kind of always had it stick with me. I remember loving this arc. And I remember loving One Piece. And for a long time, I just kind of forgot about it. And then a certain age hit me, and I saw One Piece was on that night. And I was like, huh, One Piece, eh? That's a name I haven't heard in years. Take a cigarette out of 12-year-old mouth. I'm gonna watch it. And I did. And it was an episode on Long Ring Long Land. Yeah, not the best reintroduction point, but when I saw it, I got hit with that wave, and I'm like, damn, this is the shit. And then after that, I remember distinctly, there was a show called Soul Eater, and I watched an episode where a guy named Stein killed some lady who was named Medusa. And I remember sitting there, I was like 12 or 14, and I remember that two-day stretch, it was a strange time in my life. I watched Soul Eater, and I think that's when I fell in love with anime. And my god, do I not forget that episode. And the next day, I beat MGS3, which is a whole nother fucking story, because that's far down the line. You'll learn about that kind of stuff, but I think about those days a lot. And I think about what that means to me as someone who does what I do now. And, you know, I can't say I have the heart for what I do on YouTube. I do it because it's fun. And I'm always trying to recapture that moment. That moment when I fell in love. And I think about it a lot. And I think that I'm jaded at the ripe old age of 18. I think that I'm just some jaded old fuck who doesn't like anything. Then I can go back to something like this. Something that people will say is overrated. Something that people will say is not as good as it used to. One Piece is garbage, and here's why. I could become that person. But then I open my heart to this stuff. And I let it all come back in. And it's all good. Let's actually begin to wrap this one up. We have everything we need. This is our piece. This has been our episode. I think it's about time we say goodbye to this corner of the world and move on to a brighter, more sun-y future, as we praise the sun god down in Lior with the Elrics next time on Building the Ark. I've been Michael, and thank you for watching and listening to this rambly episode. I tried to not script myself so harshly so I don't sound like a little dweebus the whole time. I wanted to be me and not the me of the pages, because I speak like an idiot but write like a genius, and I write dumb things but I try to make them sound smart, and that's just not how I am. I'm just as fucking stupid as anybody else who likes anime. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Maybe I'll try and script myself a little bit harder to cut down on time, but hey, my editor's gonna have a real fun time in this one. Isn't that right, Phil? Oh, you're a good boy, aren't you? I'll see you guys next time later.